Are we on?
We're on. Peace, peace, peace. Queen Dawn Spirit here. Welcome to my channel. This is an amazing, phenomenal live on plant medicine with my phenomenal Tehran, aka King Tehuti. I'm so honored to have him on the show today. And we're going to talk about plant medicine and the benefits of plant medicine. This is an amazing interview. Share this video. Subscribe if you're not already a subscriber. But sharing is caring. Share it so it'll go out to the YouTube universe, because this is about education about plant medicine and how to heal with it on so many levels. And Tehuti is the man to guide you and tell you, and this is a chance for you to ask questions and, you know, educate yourself about plant medicine if you've ever thought of, you know, checking it out, especially pertaining to mushrooms. How are you? Welcome, God. How are you?
Peace, goddess. I'm strong.
Yes.
How are you? How are you?
I'm amazing. So do me the honor, do us the honor of introducing us to you, the phenomenal man that you are, so they can get to know you. And then as you start sharing more information, I'm going to start sharing this video as well, so we can get more people to sign on.
Oh, can you send a link to me? So, because somebody just asked,
Sure
they just asked because they literally just sent me. But yeah, my name's Tehran George L. And just basically, I've been going down this journey of healing and tapping into my ancestors and tapping into the spirit of my elders, and just bringing back different healing modalities that we used over time and that some were lost and forgotten. And just what I like to say personally is just cheat codes. I call them cheat codes to this world that we live in, because the world is coded. So just having these different plant medicines, as they say, or entheogens or entheogenetics, is the stairway to God and the stairway to your higher conscious and your higher self. So we just I've gone down a rabbit hole a little bit with different ones to learn how to be better for myself, basically, and then to pass that on to my family and to my community. But it all starts with self first. So everything I do is just basically for me to learn how to be a better me.
Okay, I'm just going to send you the link so we can get some more people to connect, because they're going to be people that are going to want to ask questions. So you give me a moment.
Just for me to learn how to be a better me. Hello?
I'm here. Yeah, I'm just sending the link. I sent you the link to Tehuti.
Oh, I got it. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. I'm going to send it to a few people, get a few people to sign up. We already have some people online now. And this is an opportunity for you guys to ask your questions. So tap in. Get your questions lined up. And this will be recorded too. So this is the recording. So you guys can go back and watch it as many times as you like.
Yeah. Yeah. So how's everything going on your end?
Everything is absolutely amazing. I'm so excited about 2023 because I'm a rabbit. So this is a rabbit year and it's a number 7 personal year. So I'm super, super duper excited. Just looking forward to sharing as much information with everyone as possible because, you know, sharing is caring. And I'm just waiting for, I don't know why I can't seem to post it on my apologies. Posted on my business page for some strange reason, but I'll put it underneath of the link.
Yeah, I was watching that. I watched the Billy Carson and Dr. B series one where they were breaking down the whole 7 year. And he was breaking down the I always say it wrong, but basically that Santa Claus mushroom. It's called the Amantheta. Yeah, yeah, that was a mean story. I learned a lot. Learned a
Oh
whole
yeah,
lot.
that webinar was absolutely amazing. You know, Billy Carson is one of my teachers. So I was really excited to be a part of that. It was on so many levels. Okay, here we go.
Hello?
Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay. All right, here we go. Some people have already joined. I want to thank Jacqueline, my phenomenal queen, for joining, and Kiara. Let's see who else have. All right. All right, so I have shared it with as many people as I can possibly think of at this moment. But like I said, this will be recorded. This is a recording, so you guys will be able to go back to it and check it out. Check it out, y'all. All right. Hold on. All right, so I think a couple of people. Oh, right. So we have on here, we have Kiara Greer, Peace Queen. We have Jacqueline Edwards here, Peace Queen. We got Burning Sky. Hey, Queen, how are you? How beloved? Share this video, guys. Squado, peace and love to you too.
Squado, what's up, brother?
Yeah. So, Squado's connected to you.
Yeah.
I say. Okay, so what I know you were mentioning about your journey, how you first started into plant medicine.
Uh-huh.
Right. So how long ago was that?
The first time I dibbled and dabbled was maybe like 2010, 11, 12 time.
Okay.
And I was searching, but when it first started being like real intention is like when I understood that I was dealing with something that was a little bit more on the spiritual side was there. It's been about 7 years of the study and about a good 5-6 years, probably about 8 years of the study and about a good 5-6 years of actually like applying the study.
Okay. My cousin is Burning Sky. That's my queen right there. Okay. All right. So you've been into it a long time then. For quite some time.
Well, you know, technically it's like, so like even like with doing some of the studies and stuff, like for what I'm actually doing now, if I was to actually have sat on a one person, I would have probably been sitting under that one person for about 5 years.
Right.
They say give or take. So it's like, you know.
But the wonderful thing about spirituality and the conscious community and healing, holistic healing, I've learned that, you know, it's okay to learn from other different mentors, even though like as a Reiki master teacher, I was instructed that I should stick under one Reiki master because there's 150 techniques.
Right, yeah.
But I learned, but I have several mentors that I'm under that I learn from and that resonate with me. And because like there's no ceiling to spirituality, as you know. So if you chose more than one person to learn under, then that was part of your spiritual path. So,
oh yeah, definitely. Because I consider you one of the one of my teachers, you know what I'm saying? So so that's or educators, you know what I'm saying? So so that's basically like the thing where it's like you know I study from Bobby Hemmett a lot. So
Yeah,
a
Bobby
lot
Hemmings a
is
beast. Yeah.
so because of studying for Bobby Hemmett and doing hours and hours of just studying panic videos and just like reading his books and stuff, is that a lot of that it helps to codify the mind to where you realize that no one's really doing anything to you in this world. It's all just a reflection of you, and everything you learn is you. So then from there, anybody you meet is just somebody that's helping you learn what it is that you have to, what you're bringing out of yourself. So so that it's a good blueprint to have when you're dealing in this world, when you're meeting a lot of these or for sake of words, shamans. You know what I'm saying? A lot of these different shamans and these different healers and stuff like that, because you'll realize they're just human too. And and it's magical. They are in their space of holding space and being able to deal with these entities and deal with these different negative energies that can flow in the air. They'll go have a bad day just like everybody else has a bad day.
Right.
And so you're not really supposed to have no heroes in the sense of we all fall short. So it's like it's a good blueprint, because sometimes we can see that these people are doing such wonderful and magical things, and then when they do show a flaw, you throw everything away and just like, oh, well, that person's no good, or that person's not the person for me, and you held him at a place where he couldn't even show his flaws, because there's still people journeying and learning in their own time too.
Right. Okay. So I apologize. Go ahead.
No. Well, that's it. That's it, basically.
Okay. Peace, Queenland, my cousin, family, support his family. I appreciate you, beloved. So what I it's funny because over the years, from the time I was a child, I heard about plant medicine, but didn't really know about it because it really, I was taught about spirituality. My mother never tapped into that. So anything that was not prescribed from pharmaceutical industry that was considered, drugs, or you're a druggie, right? So I remember I heard about psychedelics too, and I want you to elaborate on that too. Matter of fact, let's elaborate on that now. What is the difference between psychedelics and plant medicine?
Just the Western name.
Okay.
Just that's it. That's it. That's just the name.
So it's pretty much. Go ahead.
Well, so all right. Well, it's okay. So for the most part, you would say that so because they'll kind of put bufo, because if you really all entheogens, or because that's why they changed the word to kind of like they switched to like entheogens too, is to show that it's a stairway to God and give it more of a presence that showing that this has spiritual lineage to it. But when you use plant medicine as a term, it's a broad term. But some of them aren't plant medicines because they're technically from animals and other things of that nature. So they wouldn't really be considered plant medicines in a sense. But they still, if you ask a person, most people would consider a bufo a plant medicine. It's from a toad. You see what I'm saying? So,
right. I might need to change the title too. Okay, you're right. All right. So let me. Go ahead. No,
yeah,
go ahead.
So certain psychedelics could be not considered plant medicines, and certain psychedelics could also be not necessarily natural in a sense, but they have been processed through some have been processed through nature, and some are just. That just means that it had to take a process to be the natural out of its natural state, but doesn't mean that it's not coming from a place of nature. You get what I'm saying? So it's still natural, but even like acid's like one of those ones that if it depends on who you talk to, if there is a benefit for and some will say there is, and some will say that there aren't, and some will say that it depends on the acid you get. So, but that would be considered. It's from a rye. It comes from a bread, but it's obviously it's more synthetic than it is than of nature, but it still comes from a rye.
Okay.
So like I say, so it's like it's just really kind of the word it's just that they try to get away from psychedelic, the word psychedelic, just because it has a bad stereotype to it a little bit.
Yeah, Erock said some is synthetic, correct. And then Roderick Degree said, yeah, okay. So let me ask you, and Erock Braxton said, right. I remember when I first tapped into plant medicine, you remember that, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I said, I had a bad trip. You said there's no such thing as a bad trip.
No.
Because
whatsoever.
I'm kind of a control freak, so I was trying to control the experience.
You gotta let go.
And yeah, and you talked to me, you were like, you're gonna be okay, just play some music, just chill, relax. But I was tripping, but now that I think about it, it was actually a phenomenal, amazing experience because I was seeing rainbow geometric symbols and hearts and shapes, and the branches were coming through the windows of my house, and my dog was growing, and things were growing around me, and it was but once I stopped focusing on what was around me and I just went within, it really helped me heal within, childhood traumas and things that I hadn't that I hadn't come to terms with, and that were haunting me. But afterwards I was like, okay, I could do this. But then I start microdosing, like small dosages, microdosing, periodically. But explain to me, I remember, this is what I wanted to talk about. So I remember when I saw it on The Best Man, on that TV series.
Yeah, I watched it with my cousin.
Okay.
Yeah, right.
Happened into this, and that was amazing. And if you would like to elaborate on that a little bit more, because we're going to go deeper as we go along in this interview.
Yeah, my cousin, she had actually hit me up. She's like, "Oh my God, is this what you do? This is what you do? This is what you do?" And I'm like, "What are you talking about?" She's like, "You gotta watch The Best Man and watch it, right?" So I watched it. I watched the second. It was the second episode, and they had like a whole ayahuasca, ceremony on the beach and everything. Then like even after that, the girl, the one from DC, what's her name, Regina Hall. She's like went into that whole like chocolate mushrooms and trying to legalize it and all that. So it's like, well, you can see that it's becoming more of the know, and I think that's just being just basically what's going on in the world itself, which is like the conjunction and everything, just with everybody waking up. As they wake up, they're gonna these things are just gonna be things that wake up to them, because these are things that's gonna put them on the right path of their own spirit and just something to assist them and help them, because you can't have one without the other. It's like, if it was first, it was kind of like sea moss. And bladderwrack and these certain herbs.
I was like, what the heck is sea moss? Right.
And so I was in front of that. You know what I'm saying? You
introduced me to sea moss too, yeah.
And so a lot of people, but because my mom was listening to Sabi in the 90s, like, you know what I'm saying? So it was like, and we used to laugh at her, like, what are you talking about? I'm not about to do that. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of stuff, I will say, I'll say to my mom, she put me in the right direction.
Yeah, phenomenal queen.
With a lot of different things. And I was in the room for a lot of different things growing up that I, even though my spirit was listening, but the human self wasn't really listening. So, but I was in the room though. And so it all started making sense. But so like, as we wake up, that we like to classify things and break them up into these compartments and say, oh, well, this one's plant medicine, this is this. But in the tribes, in the woods and stuff, they just all just they all just herbs. They all just medicine. And it's just a time and a place for these herbs, and it's time and a place for this medicine. It's time and place for this herb. And it just so happens that some of the medicine you might take may take you away for a couple days or a couple hours or a couple, so
I can't afford, I'm not going, I don't want to go away for a couple of days, maybe a few hours, that's cool.
Yeah, but they got the Iboga, they got the Iboga queen over there in Ghana, in Gabon. I'm sorry, she's in Gabon, man.
I heard about her. You shared that with me. Okay. Man,
she'll take 70, 80 grams of Iboga and go talk to the dead for like 3 weeks to a month. And they'll almost think she's dead. And she'll just be there. And then she'll wake up and be like, oh my God, I just had the most phenomenal trip. I learned so much, the downloads of this, and this. It's not for everybody. Everything's not for everybody. It's just
True.
you got to talk to your spirit and see what sits with you when you're dealing with this. More than you need to talk to somebody else, to be honest with you.
Right, and share space with somebody. Let me say hi real quick. My son John came. My son, my SUN.
Peace, John. Peace, John. Peace, John.
My beautiful, gorgeous daughter-in-law, Lisa Davis. She said wants to know about premenopause symptoms. So we're going to tap into that too for premenopausal.
Okay.
But before we go there, I remember when I watched and I went to my first conscious event in New York and right before the pandemic. And I met Dooley, I met Hank, I met
right, the Baba.
Billy Carson, I met Blue Pill, Red Pill, and I'm KT Arch. And KT Arch, their younger brother, said that Dr. Sebi was and his mother was microdosing him as a child. And I was like, you're giving this stuff to children and not large quantities, just little pinch. And then as I learned more about the mushrooms of the plant medicine from mushrooms, like they were saying, they're putting a little bit in their oatmeal, and they were saying how it really broadened the children's creativity and the things that they tapped into. And then when he was saying that his mother, he would go with his mother when his mother would harvest it, she would just give a little pinch for him to just chew on.
Yeah, KT is the smartest person I know personally. Oh,
KT is amazing, and his wife is too.
And I used to talk, and that being said, I used to talk to a lot of Africa often.
Really?
And, yeah, a lot of Africa was he talked like Yoda. He talked in riddles. And he was
I've seen his videos, but I've never had the opportunity to meet him.
Yeah, I met him at Everlasting Light after that, and after that he would talk to you like Hank, Baba Hank.
Mm-hmm.
I've never met him personally. We all got mutual friends, but I have been talking to him on the phone for a while. And if you call them, they just really want to talk, and they really just want to get it, pass out the information. But as beautiful as a lot of Africa is, man, KT is different. He's different, and so that was all I needed to hear.
He's off the Richter scale, yeah.
When it comes to somebody's mind,
I met Dick Gregory.
Oh, okay, right. I never met.
I met Dick Gregory in the DC, and it's funny how when you connect with other people, how when you're on certain journeys and spirit says you think you're not on the right track, but along the journey you start meeting people. And this is before I was always spiritual, but not conscious. I was spiritual because that's how I was raised. And I was going into an office building in DC. I never forget this. And Dick Gregory, he ran in front of me, right hand to God. He ran right hand to my ancestors. He ran in front of me and opened the door. And I was like, oh, thank you. And he's like, you welcome, beautiful lady, pretty lady. And he's like, right after you. And he held the door open for me.
He's a track star too.
Really? I used to be.
Yeah, a lot of people don't know that. He was a long distance track star.
Wow.
Yeah, he's a long distance track star.
Dick Gregory's energy was amazing then. And that was like in the early 2000s when I ran into him. But getting back onto topic, a couple of people have questions about menopause and as well as diabetes. So let's talk first about what's the benefits. Well, you did speak of some benefits about plant medicine, but can you elaborate on it a little more?
So, okay, so I'll kill two birds with one stone with that one. So so dealing with diabetes, right? First off, like the bitter melon, just go down the rabbit hole, Google the bitter melon. But just like when you deal with it's called the bitter melon. It's a bitter melon.
Bitter melon.
Bitter, yeah. You want when you're dealing with diabetes, you just want to deal with all bitters anyway, because you know how the old folks used to say, you got the sugar, right? So how you balance the body off from sugars with any type of bitters. Any type of bitter herbs. But the bitter melon, you can eat it, you can make a tea with it, you can do a lot with it. But when you're dealing with the mushroom itself, the mushroom will help with menopause and diabetes, because it's so what's going on is like how we said with Dr. Sebi, the thing they don't talk about a lot is that when Dr. Sebi brought you to him, that he would actually give you a mushroom to kind of because you're letting the neural pathways, they open up new ways. So like sometimes we can be stuck in a loop in our life because we are learning the same lesson, that the lesson you didn't learn the first time, it'll come back and present itself a different type of way. Right.
Okay.
So you'll find yourself in these loops where you're having the same situations happening that you might not even realize is happening. What happens with mushrooms at high doses, certain DMTs and certain other medicines, it forms new neural pathways in the brain that will actually will give you a new route. Will literally give your brain a new route or a new way of going. So so that's usually why people take these certain medicines and they stop eating meat, or they stop eating a lot of sugar, or they stop doing hard drugs or whatever like that, is because they caught themselves, they was in a loop, and the high doses sparked them up and it sent them outside the loop, literally outside the track. And outside that track, usually you'll find yourself falling into a place of doing things to feed your spirit, to do things that benefit you. And it just so happens that a lot of things that form those things, diabetes or even menopause, are formed because of your body being at a more of a diseased state, right? Okay. And so the more that you attack that, you know what I'm saying? So that's why you always, like how you said with the microdosing, that's why I would refer microdosing to people even when I don't, even if they're not really willing to go tap all the way in, for the simple reason, because you can do that and not really feel it, but you could still start working on the brain, where the brain will, so it kind of chips away at some of those the blockages in the brain and the fear and the things that make you not want to be that, and then you can kind of decide on your own if you do want to go all the way in, or maybe you don't. Maybe because it might be just, you know, a couple microdoses every now and then, and some breath work, some yoga, something like that. Go work out, go play some basketball or something, and you'll find out that you've already formed something new. So it's up to the person of how they take it. But like I said, that's why I call it a cheat code, because it helps you to you know, like when we play video games, you know, you put these certain codes in and you can kind of skip a level. And so it's a way of skipping the level by assisting yourself, but you still gotta do the work though. You still got
right. So you suggest people should microdose first before they start before they go in hard, and they should never
No, never that. Never that.
Yeah, they should. And if they do, they should.
No. Opposite. The opposite.
Really?
Yeah, the opposite. Me personally, I suggest, because that's and Mama Ayi told me this. That's Baba Kalinde's wife. She said she was just like basically like just eat the five and just tap in. That's how I look at things.
That's how I started,
and that's how I told you. But what I'll say to people is, now if they're on the fence and they have fear, then you could microdose. But sometimes it's just easier just to get it out the way, because it's just,
get out the way.
What I'm saying? But you can't always tell people that, because you can't really tell anybody what to do and what's best for them. So so you can give them suggestions. So my suggestion would be just go in the dark room and eat 5. You know what I'm saying? But
go in the dark room and eat 5.
Yes. Yeah.
Because somebody asked what is the good dosage and of microdosing, and somebody says, is it 0.5 for microdosing?
0.3, 0.5.
0.3, 0.5. And then what you said, if you want to go in, what do you suggest as far as going in? If hard
5 grams, 5.
But they shouldn't do it. You think they should make sure that they're sharing space with someone when they're doing it, though? Or
so now it's that thing. It's that thing you got. So it's like you got these different ways, because I personally have learned from multiple people. So I kind of give people different suggestions. I personally say that when you're dealing with tapping into your own self and tapping into what you really need to get in without a lot of other things around, is to go into a dark room and eat 5 grams. Now, what you can always have is somebody outside that room, just to make sure that you're safe, make sure that you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, my husband did that.
Right, yeah. But they don't.
I was like, here's my keys. Here's my keys. Here's my phone. I'm getting ready to go on a healing journey. He was like, okay. He came in and checked on me a couple of times.
Yeah, and that's the way. That would be, you know, what they would call the Baba Kalinde's protocol. Is how Kalinde will suggest it. Now they have the other way, which I was taught too, is inside. It's ceremony where they make it more of like a ceremonial type thing, where you might be outside. There's fire. There's multiple people.
I want you to hold on to
music.
the ceremony, though. Don't go into the ceremony yet, because that's one of my last questions I want to ask you. So when I did mine, I grinded mine up with almond milk and peanut butter, because that's what you told me.
Right.
And I did it like a shot. I grinded it up and I grinded it up in my blender, and I just like took it, and then I was washing dishes, and then I was like, uh-oh, and I felt like a zoom go past my stomach, and then another zoom, and then I had to go to the restroom. Right. And then I just ran upstairs to my bedroom, because I was like, I want to be in my room that's where I felt most safe at. Or my healing room the second time I did it. But Roxy Braxton said, laugh my ass off, 4 grams of PE is not recommended. But then hold on.
What?
Burning.
Tell him I ate 20 grams of PE. What is he talking about?
Well, I don't know what we're gonna talk about the strands. Hold on. And then Burning Sky said that I was brave. And what if you know I'm a risk taker, so that's what I do. But she said something else. Burning Sky said something else. Somebody else said, Squadro said 5 grams of PE ain't for beginners. And then Braxton said, laugh my ass off, 4 grams of PE is not recommended, LOL. What do you say about that? Or not recommended for beginners?
Man, I say so once again, we back to the Hemet, right? So back to Hemet. So if that's in your paradigm, then it's probably,
PE. Wait a minute, PE is penis envy, right?
Yes. You've had PE before. I was saying, you've had them before. Apes. They call them apes. They call them albino penis envies.
Okay.
Right? They got penis envy. They got albino penis envies. Right. But so once again, so we going back into Bobby Hemmett, and like basically like, so if your paradigm is presenting that 4 or 5 grams is too much for you, then 4 or 5 grams is probably too much for you. You get what I'm saying? And so then you probably want to. But what I would say is usually what happens with people that do that, if they don't just do the microdose and they do like the 1.5 gram or the 2 gram, sometimes they get stuck in between. So they don't have enough to kind of go into their head and go into their inner space. And so they're kind of stuck in between 2 worlds, and they just feel uncomfortable, and they feel shaky, and they feel this. And it's just not. So sometimes that can happen with that. So they do have like, I said, you don't want to get into the ceremony part, but I'm gonna say, because they have ceremonies where they do different lower gram things of that nature. But we talk about, I'm speaking from a protocol of one of the great late masters, right? Ashe to the elder Baba Kalende, who dealt with this at a different science, and the science that he dealt with is not for everybody. And so that's why I am speaking that too. That's not for everybody. That is for people who have a certain calling, where they're called to take on things bigger than just themselves, right? Because when you start dealing with what Kalende is talking about, you're dealing with you're at spiritual warfare, and you're going into the other ethers to tap in, to get lost information, to get certain downloads, to actually to defend and attack spirits that are entities that are in the lower realms that don't have this realm in their best interest. And so when he would do that, he would tap in with 30, 40 grams.
Jeez.
And so
30, 40 grams?
Well,
isn't that the brother that saw aliens when he did that many grams? I think that's the one you sent me a video on.
Kalende said he'd have had a dragonfly over his head before, and it was real. So you can tell what the right?
Much for me.
Yeah,
I see enough as it is. I don't even see no dragons.
Yeah. So
okay.
Basically, and so you wanna. So me personally, I'm testing myself this year, because, like you said, it's the 7th year, and I'm 44 this year. So this is my 44th year. It's a God year. So I told myself that I will ingest 44 grams before this year is over with. So my body, somebody
said God.
Yeah, so that's that. So I'm
Oh
putting
my
that into the I'm
God.
putting that into the ethers. I'm telling everybody that's
Oh my
my
God.
goal.
Let me give you a Reiki session before you do that, please.
That
Oh
is my
my God.
goal. So
Roger
I'm
is
tapping in.
laughing. Roger degree is cracking up.
Oh, that's
So,
my little cousin. Tell him what's up, cousin.
okay, so when you say, okay, so I know that we live on over 100 parallel universes, and
I'll show you.
depending on what level we're on, and Earth is the highest of the hell universe. So depending on what level you're on, when you're doing these, when you're experimenting or whatever, and intaking diagnosis, whatever, taking not diagnosis, in taking plant medicine or Entheogens, however you pronounce it, would you say that it's raising you up to higher parallel universes other than Earth?
I'll show you.
I say.
I say, yo. Oh man, I back to Iboga. So and I did it. When I not my first time doing Iboga, my first time in an Iboga ceremony. It was like Star Wars. Literally like Star Wars. Like I was in, I know I was in space somewhere, and it was numbers, it was codes and numbers. They just come at you like numbers, like you put, and then yeah. So that's
don't you have to be careful on these journeys because you can come back with a parasite, right?
Who has to be careful?
I'm saying I've heard of people coming back with a parasite, a spiritual parasite.
Yeah, facts. I've had to work. I worked the ceremony where I had to get one off of somebody, and it was not easy. That's when I worked the ceremony for a brother who held space for other people, and he was in a situation where he was holding too many spaces and not doing certain things to himself, and he caught something out there, and that's when, like, by the end of that ceremony, I knew that this was really, like, if this was the real deal, this is really what I'm here for. This is really my calling. It's not forced. And like without putting my brother out there, but like if you ever seen The Exorcist, like I've seen that multiple times, to be honest with you. I've seen people
They must have took a high dosage to get to that point.
No, and that's the thing. And that, to be honest with you, it was the exact opposite. He was holding space for people dealing with higher doses when he was only taking baby doses.
So what do you suggest someone wears, like a protection crystal or something when they're doing it?
I say, so that's what I was about to say. So you have, so that's the part of the game, is that when that's what they have. So that's why when you start dealing with different things outside of the mushroom and other ones, but outside mainly the mushroom is a self-teacher, right? So you can deal with the mushroom and it teach you what it needs to teach you, right? When you go and start doing ceremonies with groups, right, and you're dealing with the mushrooms, now it's in a different container, and now if that person has something and you not protected, you might catch it, yada yada. Unless the person persons there, it knows how to manipulate the energy. That's what the music's for. That's what the fire's for. That's what the sage is for. That's what the Pablo Santo's for. These are tools. These are tools. These tools are used for these exact reasons. Silver. That's one of the ones they tell you it's good to have on your body. Silver, when you go into the astral world, it always silver always holds you to the spirit world, back to the earthly plane.
Oh, now
right?
I wear crystals. I wear certain crystals. I don't go into a reading. I don't read my clients or go into a spiritual session unless I'm wearing my protection crystals and I'm clearing space, with certain herbs and, Palo Santo, Moldavite, incense, and stuff like that. I make sure that I clear my space before I even begin a reading.
So that's the same thing. So basically all the rules for everything else in the spiritual world work inside the plant world. It's just amplified.
Okay.
Because now you're dealing with somebody at an amplified state.
Which
is the same thing to a person. One of my friends, he teaches shamanic breathing. He doesn't really. We sat in ceremony before, so he has sat in ceremony, but he doesn't do these ceremonies with any type of medicine. But that breath work, when you're doing shamanic breathing, when you're doing a certain type of breath work for 45 minutes to 50 minutes long straight, you go into these places that you would go in the same way with some of these medicines. So so with that being said, you could still, things could latch on you. Not as, so that's the reason too. That's the other thing. Is the reason why things can latch onto you when you're dealing with a certain plant medicines more is not because it doesn't always just shoot you straight to your Godhead. It'll shoot you down first, then shoot you up. Or you might go down. You get what I'm saying? Is that you get, that's why I said the Kalinde will talk about these entities that are at the lower realms. So that means he's not going up. That means he's going down somewhere. Like I've taken DMT and have gone to that deathly realm where you're like, oh, this place is different. Then you shoot up. You shoot up high. But at first you were down in the low. You were down somewhere where you knew it was dark. The energy was a little dark. It was a little different. Ayahuasca is the same thing. Ayahuasca is the one that's done where it's that teacher, but at the same time you're opened up to so many different energies that you wouldn't necessarily be opened up to even call upon. It's not that they're not there, they're always there. It's just that they don't even worry about you because you're not powerful enough for them right now. But now once you raise your power up and they're like, oh, if he can't control his power, let me come get some of that. You get what I'm saying? So it's not even necessarily well, brother Oye will tell you it's not necessarily let them have it. If they need it, let them have it. You know what I'm saying? But the thing is, so that's why you have to know how to get these things off. And this is one of the, like I was telling you before about the Kambo. See the stick? This right here is one of the is a big reason why this was used traditionally with going with a lot of those different medicines, just because it helps to get rid of those negative energy. It helps to get rid of those parasites, those entities that can grab.
What is that called?
It's called Kambo, or they call it Sapo. It's this is the tree frog. This is the one you've been ducking from Dooley. Was trying to do.
Yeah, no, I'm all set with that one. Okay. Okay. You know what? Yeah, okay. I want to go there, but hold up real quick. I'm definitely going to ask you questions about Kambo because I want to know more about Kambo because I was talking to my son about it and okay, we're gonna go there. Real quick. What are the different strands? Name the different strands of mushrooms.
What? Oh, it's too many to name. But I mean,
ones that you know, just the ones that you the basic ones.
The basis is always it's going to be golden teachers and penis image. Is the basis. That's the basis. That's the one everybody knows. The teachers are exactly how they call them. Golden teachers are usually the ones that you take, and it's usually not a lot of it's not as aggressive. So you usually kind of have those happy trips. So they really are they're a good one to have in ceremony or people use at raves or parties or things like that when you could
said raves.
Little raves, like they say raves, like parties and stuff like that, because it's a little bit more friendlier. Pennies Evies, they're a little more aggressive. That's when people they'll have those quote unquote, they'll have those bad trips. But it's not really a bad trip. It's going in there and it's cleaning up some BS. And so, trauma that you hold on to wasn't you hold on to it because it was not a happy experience. So now that it's presenting itself out of you, it's going to present itself out of you not being happy.
Yeah.
So that's usually somebody crying, or they could just yell or scream. Sometimes they just need to scream, And so you got
that helped me with my childhood traumas. My first experience, it helped me go really deep within it and but be able to cope with what happened to me as a child for many years. So that helped me that's why I got interested in it, because it helped me heal on so many levels where I was no longer a victim.
I'll say.
That was a victor instead of a victim.
Right. And so and a lot of times people don't know that they're holding on to something that it usually is they're holding on to something from their childhood, to be honest with you. And they haven't let go of it. And it's held on to them so long that it's became something that is of dis-ease or something. They just never, and some people don't even remember what it is. They might, like I've been in ayahuasca ceremonies where the person they'll present that childhood trauma that they don't inside the ceremony. When it's over with, you have to tell them what happened because they won't even know. And that's where and shout out to Oye So integration, because he's a big one on that one. So there we have speaking of that right now is that and that's why they have integration programs and people that they have these therapists or people that understand these medicines and understand what they're dealing, so they can have these integration talks with these with people when they do go through these experiences. Because like I said, they can be they usually are life changing. Right? Especially when you're dealing with and so before we move past the subject of it, is like how you said with the best man. So that ceremony on the beach was an ayahuasca ceremony, right?
Okay.
And so the way what is presented to the body in ayahuasca is presented in the body during high doses of mushrooms. And so that is the reason why Kalende was the one who vouched for. He was big up on a lot of high dose mushroom ceremonies because the body's producing a certain amount of DMT on the body that if you're not going to drink ayahuasca in the jungle somewhere, it's another way to get it, because ayahuasca is a little bit harder to get and harder to contain spiritually, because it holds a different type of vibration, different spirit. And so it's just like you just have to. But it's not impossible. Like I said, I have a couple brothers that hold space at it, and my goal.
I'm scared of ayahuasca, man. I don't know about that piece.
Yeah, I'm supposed to. I'm going to the jungle to learn to get my diet.
You going to Peru?
Yeah, this year.
Okay, yeah. One of my spiritual sisters, she's a psychic. Her and her sister, they went to Peru. They both psychics and too, and they went to Peru, and they said the experience was absolutely amazing.
Yeah. I'm going to learn how to hold space, though. I'm not going just to go. I've sat in ceremony. I've drunk more ayahuasca than most people that's sat in the jungle. I'm ready to go. I want to go. I need to go learn the Icaros. Certain songs I have to be able to sing in certain ways, certain things. I was going to learn. I was going. Believe it or not, my mother's friend, his uncle he has a place in Catskills where he cooks ayahuasca and everything. But they had when COVID hit, everything shut down in New York. So they ended up losing touch with each other. But because I was supposed to go up there, I guess the spirit just it wasn't time. It wasn't my time.
Wasn't ready. Wasn't time.
But I'll be ready this year, though.
All right. So let me ask you. You named the different strands of mushrooms. Let's name the different types of plant medicine or Entheogens, however you pronounce it. Was it Entheogens? It was an E-S.
Entheogens.
Can you spell it, please?
Can
somebody spell it in the chat for me, please?
ENTHOGENS, I think.
Okay, somebody will spell it in the chat. Don't worry about it.
Like that.
I'll post it in the title when I change the title. So can you name, I want you to name the ones from Kambo to San Pedro to, I don't know if these are you, to also Dooley learned how to do the snake venom too. That was healing people from paralysis and
it helped me
and so many things that I learned about that because he was telling me about that. But can you elaborate more on the different holistic ways, organic ways of healing?
Okay, so
different medicines.
So technically, all right. So technically, Kambo and snake venom wouldn't be considered.
Thank you, Aaron.
They wouldn't be considered entheogens, right? Because, like I said, entheogens would just be just a new word for psychedelic. They just right, but they still would be inside that bag because they'd usually be that healer would usually have those medicines too. Right? So snake venom is I have a couple friends, like you said, Dooley is one of them. And, me and Dooley haven't talked about this yet, but I'm gonna put it in the ethers that Dooley's gonna teach me how to do snake venom this year. So I'm putting that into the ethers.
Yeah, he went away for like a few months to do that.
Yeah, they all, and so that's the other part is that Dooley's gonna start me off, and then I'm gonna go to Mexico because I know who they learn from in Mexico. But I'm gonna go to Mexico to get the rest of my training. But so snake venom is different snakes do different things. So me personally, I've had copperhead, I've had the cobra, and I've had water moccasin. I did water moccasin and copperhead because that's the main snakes that we see around Maryland. They said it was an anti-venom too. And I'm always in the woods. So I said I might as well put this snake in me. So if I ever did get bit, then at least I do have the anti-venom already in me.
Okay.
Right. So that was why I picked those snakes first.
So how do you ingest the snake venom? Is it
same way you do Kambo. I'm trying to see. I actually did it today. Oh, the same way you got to burn the skin, but it's a light burn. You don't burn all the way to the skin. You just take off the little what's the name, then you put the venom on there, and it's not as aggressive as Kambo. Kambo is very aggressive. Snake venom is very peaceful. See, because the snake, they're perfecting you before they kill you. So the snake, when they bite you with the venom, they're actually healing stuff in your body so that when they do eat you, that you're not sick. Right. So when they put the snake on you, it's crazy. The algorithm is so funny. Ayahuasca Iboga just started following me on Instagram. Right.
Of course.
Why we
AI is, that's what we gotta use AI as a benefit, guys, though. AI,
yeah, I say
we gotta use
it's a duality.
Of AI.
Never
AI can help us. So remember, everything you think inwardly is what you experience outside of you.
I say, it's just funny. It's just funny.
People is that for people that are not as tapped into spirituality as we may be, everything that's going on around you is a hologram. Like if you were to put me, you, a computer, anything around you under a high power microscope, you would see 99% space. We're just having a very physical, dense human experience. Mm-hmm. So when you're tapping into these other energies, it's raising you up to higher energies, like on other frequencies. So for those that are not aware of that, but go ahead, I apologize. Oh, somebody said Kambo is the truth.
Okay, yeah, definitely the truth. So all right, so the different snakes have different healings. Kambo is like a one size fit all thing. So traditionally they would
and Kambo comes from a frog, correct?
Yes, comes from a tree frog, right? And it's like you said, they call it Sapo. Right.
Okay.
This is actually a good book called Sapo for My Soul. It's a very good book. It tells about the first encounter that we know of in the Western world and known world of people actually going and getting the medicine and learning about the medicine. So it's the world's strongest antibiotic in the world.
It's an antibiotic. Okay.
Yeah, it's the world's strongest. And so, because it not only does it, because when you heal the body, you heal like holistically. When you heal the body, you heal everything else about it too. So like I said, it's used to release negative energies off the body to help with depression, help with depression is just something that's stuck in the gut anyway. Spirit people just really need to just use the bathroom in a manner, and so that Kambo will push all that out of you. It's used as for the tribalism. It's to put yourself in the spirit of the jungle frog of that nature, because when you're in the jungle, they would use it because that frog has no known predators. Wow. Everyone knows to leave it alone. And the ones that don't, as soon as it's usually a snake. As soon as a snake bites it, it secretes in 2 seconds and it lets it go. So they have no known enemies inside of the jungle, right? Wow. So the tribals would take the medicine and then they would purify themselves of all the wretched stuff that the other animals and stuff would detect on them. And so the only thing left to be detecting their blood would be the Kambo. And so they would be able to move freely through the jungle. Right. Mm-hmm. And so so dealing with, and so when you mix that, they would do that before they did an ayahuasca ceremony, because usually ayahuasca ceremonies are done 1, 2, 3 days at a time. The first day is very aggressive of a day, because that's usually the day when you clean all that gook out, all that mess, all that stuff that you don't realize is in your body. Like it's really it's a real thing. Where so they would give you Kambo before that, so that you can kind of get a lot of that out first, and so that when you did go into ayahuasca, that you might not have to go through all that as much, and you can go straight up to your Godhead. And so I think us as a whole, we should learn a lot more about Kambo because it's like it's a cheat code to fasting in a way, and it's always good to learn how to fast. But when you can't, like, it's a way to what they call is the jungle vaccine. They call it the jungle vaccine because it really does. It will go in there. It'll clean up the body, just not the things that.
Will it clean out metals?
I say.
Okay.
It will clean out. It will clean out. Yeah, it's like an acid. It's literally an acid. It is an acid for real. Because it's like even when you purge it, you will hear it come out. It's like like it's just.
So it would
acid.
help people that are addicted to drugs or alcohol. Will it help heal that?
That's actually how I help. I don't say I heal myself because I like I said, I don't condemn people that take tabs, but I used to train with acid. I would take acid and do martial arts for 10 hours or something like that, right? And in one of my Kambos, I could taste it coming out. And maybe I had a bad batch because they do, if you don't know who you get it from, they cut it wrong. And I could taste whatever it was cut with, I could taste it coming out, and it made me not want to do it no more.
Okay.
And that's usually that. It's because it's like we know, even when we don't know, we know everything. Especially you know everything about yourself. So when you're bent over and you're throwing up and you're coming through, and you can taste that poison that you thought was so good to you. And the memory can, because the thing is, we can get clouded back into life, and life can cloud us back up, and we'll forget. Right. But if you can stay in that memory, it'll change you because you'll be like, oh, I never want that again because I remember it coming out and I hate it. You get what I'm saying? And that's usually that's personally what happened to me is that it's certain things that I felt coming out and I was like, no, I ain't putting it back in me. You know what I'm saying? But I know you remember this one, right? Did you ever try this yet? Right.
Yeah, I did, and I actually, because I have issues sometimes with my sinuses. I burn a lot of incense, and I, even though they say Palo Santo is also healing too, sometimes my sinuses may bother me. But they say every illness is connected to something emotional, and I grew up with that from a child. I've always had some type of issues with my sinuses a little bit. Right. But yeah, I've tried it. I still got a whole tube left. I still got a lot left. I still got some from the last tube that I purchased from you. So this is the brand new tube that I gotten for you. Tell people how to reach you. What's the easiest way for them to reach you on IG? Is that the easiest way?
Yeah, right now I'm actually I'm working on a website right now. Actually, like I told you, we are. Because of everything, like I think today or just yesterday, they just passed a new law in Virginia where they legalized the selling of marijuana in the category of mushrooms. And so being in Washington, D.C., we got the gift. We got where everything's decriminalized. So everything's
decriminalized in D.C., but you said they just passed a law for some mushrooms in Virginia?
In Virginia. In Maryland, they passed the Ryan something law, which is it's basically they passed a law saying that mushrooms do have a benefit for people with PTSD. So now they're actually doing studies on it. So it's slowly opening up, right? And so
somebody says Kambo helps with fertility. I didn't know that. Okay, go ahead. I apologize.
Yeah, well, yeah, of course. Yeah, I mean, anytime you clean the body out of anything, then you're already going to help with fertility. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, it definitely helps with fertility. It helps with it helps with any of that. It helps.
Do you know Erox Braxton?
Who?
Erox Braxton?
Not offhand. Not about that.
Erox Braxton also says the DMV area can sell mushrooms. So in the DMV, you can sell mushrooms in the DMV area.
Oh well, yeah. Well, like I said, they just passed a law where you can do certain things with it. You know what I'm saying? I got my card anyway.
Because you can do ceremonies. That's right.
I'm part of the church. But like, listen, more power to everybody. You know what I'm saying? It's not like you know what I'm saying. Because I ain't gonna never tell nobody that they get nothing that's gonna heal themselves. You know what I'm saying? That's for them and they God, how they figure that one out. You know what I'm saying? But the point I was making was that because of that, I'm starting to like make a website and do things of that nature, because a lot of people now that it's becoming more open, and a lot of people know me for that. The first thing they ask me is, do you have a website? And I'm like, nah, I ain't got no website. You know, you the one that had to tell me, like, look, you need to get better packages and stop putting it in a Safeway bag. You know what I'm saying? I don't care. I'm just like, hey, look, you
I
need the
know,
medicine,
but you know
right?
how I am. So it's the
Right.
diva that I am, honey.
Yeah, right. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, but oh, real quick, I'll tell you. So I'll tell you a few of them. So you got a lot, especially the ones that's in the community right now. So you got mushrooms, of course. You got DMT, which is is a synthetic version, but it's from a bark. It's just the way they make it. It's not really synthetic. It's just it's processed the way they make it. It's processed, but it's from a bark. You have bufo, which is a form of DMT, which is you know, it comes from a toad. You have ayahuasca, which has DMT in the bark, right? And remember, yes. So it's a tea they brew together. They take different vines and different. The key component is DMT.
Okay.
Which when you do heavy breathing, heavy breath work, you're forming DMT in your lungs, right? So San Pedro, which is a cactus, which is the cousin, it's a mescaline, it's a cousin of peyote, which you know, peyote is one that a lot of the Native Americans or Indians they use a lot of. They had a lot of peyote ceremonies. You have iboga, which is from Gabon. You have Kona, which is from some place in West Africa. It's like it's MDMA before people really used MDMA, which was the key component in ecstasy. Which Mali, which is real Mali, is considered Entheogens too, which is
really?
Which is real MDMA. It's just that, you know, because of how the world works, as soon as they started bringing out that, they made sure they made it something else. So most people don't have the real thing.
Okay.
Right. The real thing. So you have sassafras is another one, which is what they would say, like it's like the happy component. It helps with the serotonin. It helps with a lot of people with depression. They say sassafras, Mali, Kona, they're very good for couples to do together in like a therapeutic state where they have two of them. They deal with each other. They kind of open up to each other and have, you know, the thing, right? So you have what I say? I said San Pedro, Iboga. Yeah, because there's technically there's thousands of them. So there are thousands of them. So there's so many.
You have introduced quite a bit on your IG too. So tell them how to reach you on IG real quick. And guys, if you can't find them, hit me up on queendawnspirit.com and I'll put you in connection with Tehuti.
Oh, it's Tehuti Ra L, but it's Tehuti _Ra _L.
Okay.
Right. And
I'll put it in the description too. If you don't see in the description, you see this video and you don't see in the description, hit me up and I'll share his link with you.
Yeah, and so that and then you got like Sanaga, which is
what's that?
It's the eye drops.
Oh, that stuff burns though, doesn't it?
It always burns. I ain't gonna even lie to you, but some stronger than others. But some.
And what does that do?
It's helps with the night vision, helps with haunting, helps with sensory, just being able to see things visually, like in real life and spiritually. Helps with that. Helps with cleaning out cleaning out the sinuses. Helps with cataracts. Helps with the eyesight. It's helps to a lot. So you remember. So most of this stuff we're doing, right? And even and then you got to remember, it's a rabbit hole to go down to. Is if you're going to deal with some of these on constant basis, it's things you have to put back in the body. There's different herbs you got to put back in the body. There's salts you got to put back in the body because you can deplete yourself of certain things, right?
And you would educate people about that once they took, purchase from you.
Oh yeah, of course. I always give somebody a spill. You know what I'm saying? I always, because I'm an open book, and it's like this is how I learn too. You know what I'm saying? So me talking about it's how I put it in my brain. And being able to pass it on, it's like, because that's the end goal for me, is just to be able to pass it on, because I everything I've done since my first ayahuasca ceremony, has put my vision. I know what my vision is. I know what I'm here for. I know what I'm supposed to be doing. So everything past that is just day to day to me. It's not really, so it's no sweat on my back to have these convos with people. So I'm an open book. So I always tell people they can hit me anytime and we can talk about it. And what I know and what I don't know, I'm gonna tell you who do know it. Because that's the beauty of it, is that I've been blessed, especially in the last 5 years, where some of these people, man, I kind of envisioned me meeting them or just wanted to know them, and now I can call them my friends, or I can call them like people that I can call up and just ask a question. You know what I'm saying? And some of them, you know, they might answer the question in a month or two. You know what I'm saying? They be in the jungle, like I'll be in the jungle. So it's like, but it's like they get it. They giving this information out, and so it's for us to pass it on and not to hold it to each other, because that's our real legacy. You know what I'm saying? So it's like the beauty of it is my 20-year-old understands this stuff, and you know, my 3-year-old he's gone the Dr. Sebi route. You know what I'm saying, from the start, and he's magic. You know what I'm saying? So that's where I started with what I'm supposed to be teaching anybody is my 2 sons. Past that, everything else is just a conversation that we have, and we just conversing for real. And
when you guys decide to tap into that energy too, make sure you're going into it with a purpose.
Attention, right?
Purpose and intention. What you want to manifest intention, where not that just to be getting high or just having an ultra state of mind. You're going there to heal when you're doing this.
Or grab something too.
Huh?
Or grab something. Like I said, like you start dealing with Kalindi, you can go in there. You can go in there with a purpose of say this is after you. This is after you have healed. This is after you felt that you never really healed, but I mean you're always healing.
The form of healing.
But when you feel that you're at a certain level, then it's certain times you could take the mushroom. If you got a test in the morning and you want to download the test to you, you could do that. You know what I'm saying? It's different sciences to like I said, Kalindi's definitely he's a magical man. He's a magician. He's a warlock. And he left a protocol for those who feel called to learn it. To learn it's a way to learn how to amplify their magic, how to amplify their spirit. And so it's a lot into it.
Everyone, please make sure you share this video, like this video, because like I said, when you like it, then it goes out into the YouTube universe. Sharing is caring. Is there any questions that you guys want to ask while we're moving along? We're getting ready to close out shortly. I don't want to make this video too long. I wanted you to elaborate a little bit more on the ceremonies, and then we're going to end it with that. Unless there's something else you want to share.
Well, yeah, no, that's cool. So basically, I also I do private ceremonies. I sit in ceremonies, and I have ceremonies. We do some at the Temple Mother Earth in Washington D.C. We've held some there. Right now, I hold space in mushrooms, Iboga, San Pedro, Kambo. My girl, she does cacao ceremonies and mushroom ceremonies as well.
Now, what's cacao?
Cacao is like the rawest form of chocolate. And so the thing is, with these medicines, most of these medicines they fall in different fire, water, earth, air. They fall in different quantities of that, different elements, and some can fall in more than one element, and they also can fall under different chakras too. So San Pedro, cacao, they're heart openers. They're ones that release the heart. So a lot of times they'll have cacao ceremonies where and once again, because we're dealing with intentions, because you remember that as in Reiki, or any of those other healing modalities, you will have you set the intention onto something, and then you have the ceremony inside of that when you drink the cacao. You kind of just bliss with it, feel the heart open up, and the different ceremonies are for different things, and so like I said, they have I forgot my friend. I can't think of his ceremony right now. It's like the love something ceremony where they do maybe 0.5 a gram of mushrooms,
Mm-hmm.
and they pull out a song book, and they just sing songs.
Okay.
Right. And so they have these it's different ways of doing the same thing, right? And so
Mm-hmm.
and so when you can get into the ones that are a little bit more, when you start dealing with everybody, and when it's 10, 20 people and everybody that ate 5, 7 grams of mushrooms, things can get a little more dicey, intense a little bit. So you want to have music, you want to have fire, you have certain things that keeps the energy at bay to keep the container at a safe place, because now it works different when you in that type of ceremony too.
Okay.
Is that the lesson that could be learned might not be the lesson that's getting played out for you. You might be in somebody else's play.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? They might be going through their trauma and playing their trauma out inside the whole group.
Mm-hmm.
It's really interesting to watch in real time, because it's hard to explain, but you'll actually see the energy of whatever that loop is, whatever that thing is that they haven't got over with, they need to fix, will be something that's actually happening in real time, and it can get played out through the people. And sometimes you could be playing out somebody else's trauma inside that container. You know what I'm saying? So
I think I'm an empath, so I would probably do that on a private ceremony thing. So,
right. So that's what I'm saying. So it's like, it's different. So it's different people. Sometimes they were just like, oh, it's just a couple or this or that. I know personally, like I said, I have 2 friends that hold spaces ayahuasca, and one of them is Chief Nighthawk out of Atlanta. And Nighthawk, he won't do big groups unless they know each other.
Yeah.
Like he won't even do it. Like he won't. Like some people will just, they'll have a ceremony and whoever's there is there. But like Nighthawk is one of the people that I know, because I think he's like one of the only people I know that does that. That's like, when it comes to ayahuasca, like, nah, if I'm doing a big group, everybody and they gotta know each other.
Yeah.
You know?
I was Braxton just said, Eric Braxton just said, before you go, which treatment would you best open up the chakras? What do you say to that? Now, what do you do with that? Are you burning that, or what are you doing with that?
All right, so look. All right, so real quick. Kambo, you see this? This is a stick, right? This is a knife. This is a frog, right? They take the frog. See how they got him spread out like that? He secretes off the venom. They take the knife and they scrape the venom off of it, and they plaster it onto this, right? And it hardens up. And then when it's time for you to get it, you wet it and you scrape it off into little dots. And after you have it scraped off, you burn the skin a little bit with a piece of like a piece of stick or something, and then you take that and you put it on a person, and that is. But to answer his question, to be honest with you, I'm sorry. Before I even did that, the first thing you do to open up your chakras is say, my chakras are open. That's the first thing you do. It's just say it. That's back to the intentions. My chakras is open. And if you feel like you could do chakra spinning, is that if you feel that it's a certain chakra, because we're dealing with self, right? If you feel that a certain chakra is blocked, then that chakra is blocked, right? So you want to, if you don't know all the colors, you want to memorize all the colors. If you don't know all the colors, at least know the color of the chakra that is blocked. And then you visualize that color, right? And as you visualize that color, you spin. They call it chakra spinning. You spin, you breathe, and you spin, and then you can reverse it. And then and that's your own ceremony in just saying that my chakras aren't blocked. And then we're just talking about these medicines being the cheat code to raise the vibration, now that you've already put the spell in your own head to alleviate everything. See, that's why I go by the name Tehuti, is because that's thought. That's thought is all. So to me, everything comes from the way you think of it, the way that you present it into your mind. So you always want to put your mind first to saying that my chakras ain't blocked. You know what I'm saying? And that's why me personally, I watch who be giving me readings, because I don't need nobody telling me I'm having a bad day.
Yeah.
If I don't know I'm having not having a bad day, then I probably don't need to know I'm not. You know what I'm saying? So I don't need you telling me I'm having a bad day.
And I don't talk to certain people first thing in the morning either. Matter of fact, I don't talk to nobody before 10 o'clock in the morning most times anyway. So I understand that. I do have a device where I use, which is my AO scan, where I use to open up the chakras, where it will balance out the chakras.
I'll show you.
I also would suggest maybe sound bowls too.
I'll show
That's
you.
another way to open up your chakras. But my AO scan will balance all your chakras and open them up, and also will tell you what chakras are blocked. And as you're speaking, that 10-second, I gotta do an AO scan on you too. I gotta gift you one.
Appreciate it.
As you speak in 10 seconds into my device, it's aligning your chakras right then and there and giving you a full scan report. So I would love to do it before you would take it, before you would take a mushroom, and then do it again and see what the different readings would be. That would be amazing. I want to try that. Then we have to come back again and have you tell, and we would go over your report and see how the mushrooms or whatever you chose to use at that time, how they affected you and what the readings were between the different reports that I emailed to you.
I'll show you.
Yeah.
And so then the last thing I say to the brother is you can also do that with the mushrooms, because so with the Kambo, it's going to be, you setting attention to block, clean out anything that's blocking you, right? So when you purge, you're going to purge out the thing that was blocking you, right? So then, like I said, it's a technology that you're dealing with. So you could deal with the mushroom on a level of saying that, before I eat this mushroom, I want to clean out, I want to go here with this. And, and then take it, and then like I said, it's a ritual. So if it's a certain color, you can put that color on. Or, or it's different things. There's different things you can do to play with that inside the ritual that you're making for yourself. But the mushroom just amplifies whatever you already put into the egg. So that'll be a good one that I would do personally.
Okay. Arox Braxton said, thank you. Truly, thank you guys. Truly, you're welcome, beloved Ashe. Well,
Ashe.
Is there anything else that you want to share before we shut down? Because we've been on for almost an hour and a half.
Okay, well, yeah, that's the last thing I want to say. I'll just say this. I'm like I said, right here, this is because a lot of us are kind of fearful of it because of the way you have to do it. But go down the rabbit hole, just Google about Kambo and the benefits of it, because definitely in this day and time, with a lot of these quote unquote things in the air, that if you can get a hold of the strongest antibiotic in the world, then tap in and get it done. It's just going to be a little, a little queasiness, and and I'll say this disclaimer: if you have any type of heart ailments or low blood, then Kambo's not the one for you right now until we fix those issues first before you deal with that. But other than that, and if you're pregnant, you don't
no pregnancy.
But other than that, and that's just the American protocol too with that one. Because in the jungle they deal with it like that. But that's a different animal. They've been dealing with it for a lot longer. But yeah, that's pretty much all I had to say. I appreciate you. I thank you.
Thank you for coming on. How's that oil? How are the oils working for you that I gave you?
Oh, I love it. Like, it's amazing. Like, it's really.
You love the oils that I made for you?
It is. It has definitely been. This week has been very interesting in itself. Like I said, like right now, I'm in an Airbnb and it's like beautiful in here. And she because we've been doing this my art class, and we had this event down in DC, so I just stayed in the city for a couple of days. And it's just the synchronicity of everything. The lady, I pull up at the house and the lady's tags is segment.
Wow.
Right? Yeah, so that alone right there just
the universe is something else, honey.
Her daughter name is my aunt.
Stop the press.
Her daughter
That's
name
amazing.
is my aunt. Yeah,
that's amazing. Like I did a goddess reading, and one of the cards, I think I sent it to you, and one of the cards that came up when I did the reading was speak up.
Right.
Remember, I sent this to you,
right.
It's just amazing how the universe how we tap into certain things, and there's messages coming from us from the universe, which, I consider universe God. Our ancestors, our spirit guides, there's our angels with our angles. So I love connecting. I just love every day that I wake up, and in closing, guys, I want you to remember this. Every day when you wake up, Look forward to that day being a phenomenal, amazing, exciting experience. Tapping into what you want instead of waking up like, dang, today is Monday or today is Tuesday. When is the weekend coming? Stop wishing your life away. Enjoy that day, whether it's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Enjoy it. Look forward to waking up. Look forward to tapping into that energy. Instead of picking up your cell phone first thing in the morning when you wake up, just stop and focus on how you're going to make this day an amazing day and enjoy every experience. Don't get on the phone with nobody talking drama. Don't go on social media immediately, even though a lot of my social media connections are spiritual. When I get up in the morning, I draw my Reiki symbols on the floor. When I wake up in the morning, I draw my Reiki symbols also forward in front of me. I draw my Reiki symbols on the mirror because I know I'm manifesting, I am demanding that my day be a phenomenal experience. And that's what you should be doing when you tap into plant medicines or essentials, however you call it, or any type of anything that's going to alter your state of mind of healing. Make sure that you are going into this with a phenomenal, amazing, exciting intention that it's going to be the best experience that you've ever had. Because if you don't, you're going to be hurting yourself and not manifesting what you came in there to manifest. Don't be just getting high. Just to be getting high. Do it because you're going in for intention to heal. Burning Sky said, my intuition is really opened up lately. And then JC Goddess said, good evening, family. I'm late. No, don't worry about being late. You go ahead. This is going to be recorded. I'm going to keep it on so you can go back and watch it over and over and over again. But every day, it is my mission to make every experience a heavenly, happy experience. And sometimes you may slip and go into lower vibrations sometimes, and that's okay because you're human. But immediately snap yourself back in and look at something that makes you happy. Make something something like every minute of the day, every second, because we just can't get back this last hour that we just had. But we're gonna make it, we're making it phenomenal as much as we possibly can. That is your mission. That's what you came here for, to make every experience phenomenal and not be closed-minded and be stuck in this matrix.
That's right.
You know, did you have anything you wanted to say in closing, King?
No, that's it. I mean, just everybody, man, I appreciate y'all for coming to hang out with us for a little bit. You know, I don't, like I said, she know I don't like doing this at all. And so I'm doing this. I appreciate you because you are one of my protectors out here. You know what I'm saying? You definitely assist me in this war that we in right now. And
don't make me cry.
Yeah, so I mean, it's facts. It's true. That's why I do it. You know what I'm saying? When you ask, I was like, I come on and I speak. Because I was telling my girl, like, man, I don't even want to do this. Like,
no, but people need to know. Yeah, people need to know. We need to know. I mean, there's times when I don't do a show for weeks, you know, and there may be times where I don't post anything on my social media for days or weeks. But then Spirit's like, no, you need to get this information out there. There's people that need you. There's people that need you. There's people that need help. There's people that need to know how to raise up to higher vibrations instead of being stuck in these lower vibrations and guided into the wrong direction and being depressed and unhappy and not loving themselves.
I say.
All right. Well, everyone that sees this video, I'm sending you all Reiki healing love and protection and success and prosperity, unlimited abundance. May you accomplish every intention that you want to accomplish with no harm to none. With no harm to none, with no harm to none. Ashe, ashe, ashe. Wukasha, wukasha, wukasha. Queen Dawn Spirit here. We tapping out, guys. We'll chat with you soon. Peace.
Ashe.